To celebrate the spookiest of seasons, today I'm going to be making some Halloween cookies and cupcakes, starting with the cookies. For this simple 3-ingredient shortbread, start by measuring out 7 ounces of plain flour into a mixing bowl, along with 3 ounces of white sugar and 4 ounces of room temperature butter. Then, using our fingers, you're going to need to rub it together, coating the butter in the flour and sugar, until you're left with a mixture that has the consistency of breadcrumbs. At this point, you should notice it starting to come together. If it's a little dry, add some cold water or milk a little at a time until it forms a loose, shaggy dough. It's important, in order to get a snappy biscuit, you work the dough as little as possible at this point. On some cling film, loosely shape the dough into a disc. Cover and refrigerate for around 15 minutes. When chilled, use a rolling pin to pound and roll your biscuit dough into a thickness of around 1 centimetre. Using cutters or templates to create a variety of spooky shapes, re-roll any scraps and repeat until there's no dough left. You can make as many shapes as you like. You could even make some fingers by cutting out strips, rounding off one end and lightly scoring where the joints would be. When you have all your biscuits cut and ready to go, place them onto a lined baking sheet before they go back into the fridge one last time for another 15 minutes to chill. You don't have to do this step, but it will help them hold their shape better when they're being baked. Preheat your oven to 160 Celsius or 320 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for around 20 minutes until lightly golden brown around the edges. Don't be worried if they seem a little soft in the middle, because they will firm up as they cool. For the icing, you'll need to mix together 5 tablespoons of icing sugar and 1 to 2 teaspoons of milk or water, adjusting if necessary until you have a thick but pipeable consistency. To make a quick little piping bag, take a strip of baking paper, roll it into a cone and secure in place. Alternatively, you could use a Ziploc bag and snip off the end. Mix your colours and fill your piping bags. Then we're going to use a technique called flooding. Carefully pipe a border around each cookie. Then, when it's set, carefully flood the inside of the border with a thinner, runnier icing. Use a toothpick to guide it into place and pop any large bubbles. Now all that's left to do is decorate. For the cupcakes, into a large mixing bowl, measure out 4 ounces of butter or margarine along with 4 ounces of white sugar. Cream them together either by hand or using a machine until it becomes light and pale. Before adding not 1 but 2 lightly beaten medium eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of oil, once again mixing until combined. Now we need to introduce our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients, starting with 4½ ounces of self-raising flour, a pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of corn flour or corn starch, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Then finally, when barely incorporated, we're going to add 1 ounce of buttermilk. At this point, I separated my mixtures into 2 batches, keeping half vanilla and adding chocolate to the other half. For the chocolate cupcakes, add 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 ounce of melted dark chocolate, and 1 ounce of roughly chopped dark chocolate. I also added another splash of buttermilk just to keep things from getting too dry. And if you want the entire batch to be chocolate cupcakes, all you need to do is double the amount of chocolate. Or to keep them vanilla, just follow the first half of the recipe. After putting your cupcake cases in the cupcake tray, spoon in the mixture, taking care not to overfill. Then place them into a preheated oven set to 170 degrees Celsius or 340 degrees Fahrenheit for around 20 minutes. When they're done, a toothpick inserted into the centre should come out clean. To ensure the cake stays soft and moist while still warm, poke 4 or 5 holes into each one. Then lightly brush with water or a simple syrup, making sure not to overdo it, which would leave you with a soggy mess. To make the buttercream, add 4 tablespoons of butter into a bowl, along with 8 tablespoons of icing sugar, 1 teaspoon of milk, and half a teaspoon of vanilla. Incorporate with a spoon before using an electric whisk, believe me, I speak from experience. Whisking until pale and smooth. Now this is just a rough guide, so please taste it and adjust to your liking. And when you've got something you're happy with, store it in the fridge until it's ready to use. You can keep it plain, or like me, you can add some food colouring. And once again, at this point you can really do whatever you like. I'm going to poorly attempt to make some chocolate spider webs. And use the different coloured buttercreams to make a few kind of cute little cupcake monsters. And there it is, a selection of spooky sweet treats for all your Halloween needs. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd also appreciate any suggestions for future videos and recipes that you'd like to see. Let me know if you make these for yourself, and if you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Have a wonderful and safe Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.